Name of the Rose is a 1986 film about a murder mystery in a monastery in the 1300s. It's based on a book by the academic philosopher Umberto Eco. The book's murdered monk mystery is a framework where Eco plays with ambiguous narration, meta-narrative, and dense themes about the nature of truth and ideas. All the high-minded themes are kind of lost in the film. It's beautifully shot, but a bit dissatisfying. Our main character is the intellectual William of Baskerville, played by Sean Connery. He's supposed to be the voice of reason, science, and the triumph of brains over brawn. But all I hear is the voice of Sean Connery. Today's math props appear around 6 minutes into the film when we see two astronomical instruments, an astrolabe and a quadrant. The astrolabe and quadrant were widely used in the ancient world. The astrolabe was first developed in Greece around 200 BC, and the quadrant as a kind of improvement about 300 years later. Though there were similar instruments in India about 1,000 years earlier, and major improvements were made in the Muslim world during Europe's Middle Ages. So, in an Italian monastery in the 1300s, the astrolabe and the quadrant would have been regarded as exotic instruments from a forgotten time, or perhaps from a foreign land. And this is exactly the idea here. Brother William is a different kind of monk, a man of science, of languages, of the world. It's a great little bit of character building. The basic use of both of these instruments is pretty similar. They're really angle measuring tools for distant objects. You hold the thing up and then rotate it so that it points at whatever you're looking at, and it measures the angle. If you know some geometry, you can use that to figure out, how tall is the tower, how wide is the river, that sort of thing. And of course, their most well-known use is in measuring the positions of the stars and the planets. The typical astrolabe has a ring or a chain at the top where you hold it up and dangle it. You hold it up in your line of sight, and then there's a flat bar that you turn to line up with whatever you're pointing at. And then you can read the angles off the scale around the edge. Sometimes the bar has two little pinhole sights on it. These are little rings that stick out, and you can line them up real nice to point precisely where you want. Brother William holds it up there, but the rings are totally off. Come on, Sean. But then in the close-up shot, you can see he's lining up the rings. I guess he's looking at something on the moon. It looks pretty good. There's no reason in the story why William should be looking at the moon or at anything else. It's just a little bit more character building, but he seems to be doing it right. The quadrant never gets used. It's a similar kind of thing with sight rings on one side, and then it has this dangly thing that hangs down to give your measurement. The Name of the Rose was also adapted into an 8-episode TV series in 2019, starring John Turturro as Brother William. I like Turturro for the part better, and he's got the astrolabe too. He never uses it, but it does appear in the opening credits sequence. They're really selling it. In conclusion, I give The Name of the Rose my math props rating of good. Let me know if you see any more.